Warning, this podcast contains sarcasm and realism. You've been warned. This is Girls Can Tell with your host, Trent Erickson.
There's a specific kind of moment I want to talk about today. It's when your phone lights up with a dating app notification and you don't feel anything. There's no curiosity, no hope. You're not even annoyed. You're just nothing. You don't rush to open it. You don't think, maybe this could be something. You just think, I'll look at it later. Or you don't. That moment is important because it's your brain quietly deciding it can't afford to care the way it used to. Recently, I've covered how to get more matches, optimizing your profile, and how to work with an algorithm. This time, we talk about what happens when you still want a relationship, but you no longer have the emotional energy to keep auditioning for one. People don't seem to talk about this part so much. They either push through the burnout completely, or they shame themselves for not trying hard enough. But there's this place in between, a place where you're still on the apps and open to making a connection, but every interaction feels like it takes more than it gives back. That's what today's episode is about. When you've seen a "someone liked you" notification and felt weirdly tired instead of excited. You're responding normally for something that asks for endless effort with very little in return. Before I get into it, I've got an email from someone that perfectly captures this feeling. It's from David in Los Angeles.
Hey Trent, I'm 54, divorced 8 years with no kids, and I've been back on the apps for a while. At first I was really trying. I'd check every notification, swipe for an hour or more a night, actually got excited when someone liked me. But the past few months, when I see that little notification pop up, I don't even rush to open the app. Half the time I don't check until hours later, sometimes not until the next day. I'll get a bunch of likes, and then I never hear anything back, not even one. I'm tired of liking people and getting nothing. I'm tired of people liking me and then they vanish. It feels like I'm just one of 500 guys in some woman's inbox, and she's already moved on before I even get there. I still want a relationship, but the apps feel pointless. I don't want to spend an hour every day putting in effort that ends up being a waste of time, but it's like the only way to meet anyone now. Am I doing something wrong?
Sounds a little too familiar, doesn't it? Because why would you want to keep throwing your limited time and energy into something that consistently lets you down? Recently, we went over ways to get the maximum amount of likes, but today it's all about dating while tired. We'll cover what app burnout really looks like and how to date in a way that doesn't use up the last of your patience and emotional energy. Let's start with the part in the email where David says, "When I see someone like me, I don't even rush to check the app anymore." That used to be a little dopamine hit, right? You'd see the notification, drop what you were doing, open the app to see who it was. Now the notification shows up and you think, yeah, I'll look at it later. Or not. Whatever. It's not that you're above it all. That comes from your brain learning slowly that most likes don't turn into conversations, and most conversations don't turn into dates. Most dates don't turn into anything more than just that. Your mind remembers all those tiny disappointments. Every time you opened the app excited and then closed it feeling dumb for being hopeful again. After a while, your system's done getting emotionally invested in random dings on your phone in that miniature letdown for the 100th time. I've been exactly where David is. There was a stretch a few months ago where I'd see a notification and just not open it. I wasn't busy. I couldn't take another conversation that went nowhere. I'd leave the app closed for 2 days, and then I'd open it and see a bunch of likes, respond to maybe 2, and feel absolutely nothing when they didn't respond. That's when I knew I was being unreasonably selective, because I was just coasting on fumes. Part of what's exhausting here is just the basic math of modern apps. You like a bunch of people, nothing. You finally get a wave of likes, you write back, nothing. And you know exactly what that probably means. You're one little square in a grid they're scrolling through on the couch. They liked you in a moment of boredom, then forgot you existed. By the time you responded, they were already emotionally locked into 3 other conversations. For a lot of women, and some men too, inboxes can literally hold hundreds of likes and messages all at once, something we talked about a great deal in a recent episode. There's no way to give everyone a fair shot, so people skim and answer whatever feels easiest or most exciting in that second, and then ignore the rest. On one side of the screen, it looks like they liked me and then didn't say a single word. What is wrong with me? On the other side, it's more often like I meant to reply, got overwhelmed, and now it feels too late. And the app just wants both of you to keep swiping and checking in, but it doesn't actually want anyone getting together because they'd be out to customers. So yeah, it can start to feel completely worthless to invest energy into something where you are completely interchangeable. Effort doesn't reliably equal outcome. You're always aware that you're one of 844 other guys in line with you. Dating app fatigue feels inevitable. So when the app is like, hey, spend an hour tonight liking strangers who may never acknowledge you, your brain quite reasonably thinks, or I could eat, walk the dog, and be in bed by 10. Here's the situation David is really describing. You don't believe in apps anymore, but you also don't see a ton of organic ways to meet people. So you stay on the apps, but half-heartedly, and then beat yourself up for not trying harder. You scroll less, you answer slower, you don't renew your paid subscription. You kind of hope something will just sort of happen, but you refuse to care too much either way. This in-between zone is rough because you're not getting the optimism of trying and you're not getting the peace and satisfaction of quitting. You're just stuck in the middle, keeping the app on your phone like a security blanket you don't believe in anymore. So the question we should be asking is, if the apps are going to be part of my life, how do I use them in a way that doesn't drain me or make me slowly go insane? It's about rethinking their role, optimizing them for minimal emotional damage instead of maximum matches. Number one, you can set a hard time limit. Instead of an hour every night, try 10 to 15 minutes 3 or 4 days a week, ideally at a neutral time, like a lunch break, early evening, not midnight doom scrolling. What time is up to you? When time is up, you're done. No, just 5 more profiles. Number two, you can only engage with people who actually interest you. No more, well, they liked me, so I should give them a chance. If you're already tired, spending energy on people you're lukewarm about is just a waste of time. If a profile doesn't spark at least a little curiosity, let it go. Number three, send 1 or 2 thoughtful messages, then move on. If they like you first and you respond, great. If they never answer you, you don't follow up, chase, or ask if they saw it. You take silence as the answer. We're trying to protect you from unnecessary micro-rejections. Keep apps out of your worst hours. If you know late night loneliness is when you make bad decisions, make a rule. No opening dating apps after, say, 10 p.m. No opening them when you're already upset about something else. Number 5, lower the bar for what success is. Instead of, maybe this is my forever person, aim for, maybe I'll have 1 decent conversation this week. Or maybe I'll meet 1 person I'm curious about. If something more happens, great. But your baseline is realistic then. Light social contact instead of an entire overhaul. This doesn't sound very romantic, but when you're burned out, romance is the result of small, sane choices. If someone does break through that filter, if you're actually curious about them, give them real attention. Don't half-ass it because you're in low-effort mode. The goal isn't to be lukewarm about everyone. It's to save your energy for the ones who might actually be worth it. One of the cruelest parts of dating app exhaustion is what it starts to tell you about yourself. You start to think, if this is this hard, something must be wrong with me. Everyone else seems to be finding people. Why can't I? Have you ever looked at a couple and thought to yourself, that guy has a girlfriend and I don't? Come on, man. But let's look at what you're actually reacting to. Being ignored by people who tapped a heart on a screen and then forgot. Being one of hundreds in someone's queue. Being repeatedly asked to perform at your most charming when you're already coming in exhausted. You're burnt out on this specific way of meeting someone. Your boredom when a like comes in is you realizing, oh, most of these notifications don't lead anywhere. Maybe we should stop reacting to them. That's a sane adaptation to an environment where signals are unreliable. It might not feel good, but it's not that you've lost the ability to connect or the right to want someone. Look, I've been burnt out on the apps multiple times, but the several relationships I have had in the last couple of years all came from the apps, and they all happened when I was being intentional, not when I was swiping for an hour every night, hoping something would just click. So I'm not saying the apps don't work. I'm saying they don't work when you're running on empty and treating them like a slot machine. Right now, Apps really are the main meeting place for most single people, so completely deleting everything forever might not be realistic if you still want to actually find a date. But that doesn't mean apps need to be your primary hope. You can demote them to something like 20 to 30% of your effort, not 90 to 100%. That might look like staying on one or two apps in low effort mode, letting friends know that you'd actually be open to a setup, saying yes to slightly more things in your real life where humans appear, because it reminds you of what normal human interaction feels like when it isn't being filtered through prompts and swipe decisions. Not that I'm suggesting you delete everything and join a pottery class hoping to meet someone, but if 90% of your dating effort is staring at a screen, you're going to feel like that screen is the only place relationships happen. Apps are a tool, not the only tool. If you treat them like the only possible option, of course they'll start to feel like you're trapped. And if you're at the point where every notification irritates you, you dread opening the app, and you feel worse every time you use it, that's a sign that you've had enough of feeling like your worth is determined by a stranger's thumb. Try deleting the apps for a month. Focus on your own routines, friendships, hobbies, rest, and decide on a date when you have a clearer head. Taking the break doesn't close the door on relationships. And when you come back, if you do, you can come back with boundaries instead of blind hope. So to Dave, and anyone else who saw a someone liked you notification today and felt nothing, because you just can't bring yourself to grind out another hour of small talk with strangers. You're tired because you've been doing something that drains you for a long time, and with very little return. You're protecting you by numbing your enthusiasm. And by recognizing it, it means you're smart enough to take a break and change how you operate. Use the apps in a way that fits the actual energy you have now. Let them be one small channel, not your whole strategy. And if you need to put them down for a while, then just do that. If you've got a story about dating app burnout, a screenshot that made you want to throw your phone or throw up, or a question about how to date in your 50s without losing your mind, send it to girlscantellpodcast@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram or any of the socials at Trent Erickson. Think of your fatigue as data, and you're allowed to build a different way of doing this around it.